Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Patreon. I genuinely appreciate you sitting and waiting for me to release another video. I know I promised you guys some interviews here. So today, I'm going to bring you my very first interview. I'm not going to post this interview anywhere else. It's only going to be here for you guys, for my patrons. This was a gentleman that was watching some of my videos on YouTube, seen that I was over here in Thailand. It kind of maybe gave him the idea or inspired him a little bit to maybe think about coming over here to Thailand. So he hit me on Instagram, and listen, I don't really take people serious when they hit me on Instagram, because you know how many people hit me on Instagram almost on a daily basis saying, "Oh, I'm coming to Thailand, I'm coming." This gentleman actually came to Thailand. He brought me swishers, which he asked me if I wanted anything before he came. I got my t-shirts I needed, and I got my swishers. So thank you to this guy. That's all I pretty much know about him. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, we've been hanging out for the past 2 days talking shit. I know a lot about this guy, but I'm gonna save all that for the interview, so it's gonna be a very short introduction. This is a gentleman by the name of Joseph, and he's from Texas, and I'm gonna let him tell his story. So before we get into the interview, just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you were doing professionally, and kind of like what your day-to-day life was like living in Texas.
Well, so I was running my 3D printing company and taking care of my daughter full-time. And so I'd pick her up in the morning and take her to school and go to work and go to the gym and do all those kinds of things, worry about all the bills and take care of everything. And yeah, it was very stressful, lots of very time-consuming, and always, you know, more letters and more things that always need to be taken care of, repair the house, mow the grass. So I was pretty busy. I really didn't have like any free time to myself at all. And
that's pretty much your average American. Unfortunately, that's just what life is like in America right now.
That's what we're all going through.
Yeah. All right, let's jump right into the questions. Let's jump right into the questions. So, okay, what motivated your move to Bangkok?
Yeah, so the big thing that motivated my move was, I think, primarily financially was the big motivator. The cost of living, that's right. And being able to, you know, use the American dollar to get a lot more out of life, basically. I was just working really hard all the time. I mean, I had rentals that were bringing in income, and I was just broke all the time. You know, if I want to go to the movies or something, I had to consider how that would leverage. Yeah. And then if I didn't enjoy my movie, I felt cheated, or like I did something stupid. You know, like I had expended all this resource for nothing, sort of thing.
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
So that was primarily my idea, and then also, you know, I guess a sense of freedom maybe, and of being able to do. Not being so watched over by the powers that be or by Big Brother, you know?
Yeah. No, I hear this. Those are all some of the reasons I moved over here as well.
And you know, I'm not even a lawbreaker or anything like that, you know. So that wasn't my motivation. Like, oh, I want to do these things and not get in trouble. Like, I've never been to jail or prison. I don't get arrested. I don't speed. Nothing. But it's just this weird feeling. Like, why do I need to feel like someone's always watching me? I haven't done anything wrong. I'm a decent person.
No, listen, I agree, brother. I'm there with you. Okay, question number 2. What were your initial thoughts about Thailand before deciding to make the move?
The initial thoughts of Thailand before making the move.
What was in your head? What was your idea of Thailand before you decided to make the move?
I think my idea was primarily probably based upon a lot of influencers, but of course I already knew, just being intelligent enough that there's no way that exactly everything the influencers were showing is what it's really like for everyone else. Obviously, you know, they're living the luxury life, right? So my idea of Thailand is that, you know, I can probably live a much greater lifestyle than what I was living in the United States.
Yes, you absolutely can. No, you absolutely can. You're absolutely right. Was there a defining moment or factor that made you say, I'm going to do this? Like, was there like a straw that broke the camel's back, or was it like a just kind of slow build up to the decision to move?
Right. So, for me, I have been thinking about this for a while, but you know, I have my daughter at home who I've been taking care of. You know, she just turned into a very bratty teenager over the last year in particular.
American culture.
And very ungrateful. You know, I'm taking care. I have this 1,200 square foot house that we live in together. You know, beautiful. She has queen size bed all for herself. You know, oh, you know, she's got special lights in her. You know, this crescent moon light that I had special installed for her, and it's just nothing's ever good enough because, you know, I make her take her plate in when she's done with eating, and I won't clean up after her, or I make her clean her room, or maybe, God forbid, ask her to scrub the shower once in a while. And so me and my daughter, we had been kind of hitting this point, and for a long time, I had kind of realized that I could make this move. Well, so once I got my second rental, I had realized, like, oh, I could actually live there and not need to work anymore, and that would be pretty much, I'd be set for life at that point forward. So, you know, I was really just kind of waiting for my daughter to grow up, but she just became really problematic, and she was even accusing me of, you know, some things that I definitely didn't do. And, you know, she's just being a little brat, man, just trying to get out of any of her responsibilities.
That's American culture.
Yeah, you know, and and I kind of remember being the same way, in a way, unfortunately.
It is. Yeah, we were raised on MTV. So.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead, and Leave It to Beaver and all this kind of stuff, you know?
Beavis and Butthead, definitely.
Yeah, and so we were going, you know, and we were going to these, she was going to this therapist, and this therapist was costing me $300 a visit for an hour every single week. Right, so we're talking $1,200 a month, just for her to talk to some lady for an hour each week. Yeah, and you know, there's police involved because of the contentious divorce with my ex and all. And so I actually got really sick with my Crohn's disease. So I've been suffering from Crohn's disease since I was 9 years old, and I've almost died from it many times. And it's getting worse and worse as I get a little bit, you know, I get older. I think part of it is just I don't have the same, like, raw vigor that I might have used to have when I was 20 to just grit it out. But like, you know, being 38, I'm just like, I don't know, I just don't have that same grit maybe. And it's just really become a problem. And yeah, I almost died on Thanksgiving. And so, you know, I just had this moment where I'm like, I'm going to kill myself doing this. I'm going to literally die doing this if I keep doing what I'm doing. And so I remember I just sat down at the computer one night and I kept looking at flights, and I was looking at flights, and I was sitting there.
What was it? What tipped you off to Thailand? Like, what fucking was like, that was like, man, maybe I should go there?
Well, so the main thing to me was, like, so when I look at things about the Philippines, for example, one thing people complain about is like the infrastructure, or other things like that. So I mean, this is my first time coming to any of these countries. So, but when everything I've ever heard about Thailand is good. I've heard that I did the research on the hospitals, and that's a big part of, you know, my issue is medical, right? So a big part of it was the hospitals. I hear that I was reading that Thailand has 4 of the 10, some of the best hospitals in the world.
Because, well, they're just now developing their infrastructure here. So the hospitals are brand new. Everybody's just freshly trained. The nurses are all, you know, like, the doctors have studied overseas, and so yeah, the healthcare system here in Southeast Asia is top notch.
And so my idea was just that, you know, especially if by chance my health continues to deteriorate, or I have my episodes, that I would be able to afford the healthcare and the support. I mean, if I'm half dead in bed, you know, I can call somebody to come and help me out instead of paying them like $30, $50, $60. You know, I can never afford this.
Yeah, I'm 40 years old, and this is the first time in my life I've had health insurance. Ever. I've never had health insurance before, and over here I can afford health insurance. If anything happens to me, I can go to the hospital. I've never had that option before, so yeah. All right. Yeah, so where at in your journey were you when you started watching my videos of me being over here in Thailand? Had you already made the decision to come to Thailand, and then that's how you found me, or?
Yeah, so I think I had pretty much already made the decision I was coming to Thailand. That this was my
stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, so I mean, I had already pretty much decided, and then it was still a matter of time. But then I got sick, and that's when I kind of like lost contact with you for a little bit there. Yeah. I'm sure you were just like, oh, this guy's no way he's coming, kind of like you were saying.
Yeah, well, I get so many of those messages, dude. I get so many messages from people saying, oh, I'm coming, let's do this, let's do that, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll see you when you get here, you know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah. So yeah.
All right, so how did you prepare for such a big move? Did you do a lot of research? Or was it more spontaneous? Like, how much research did you actually put into moving over here before you came?
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't say that I just packed up and left. It certainly wasn't that simple, But you know, I traveled a lot more when I was younger. I was in Japan actually for my 18th birthday, and I've been to China, and I've been to Europe. So I kind of had a gist for, you know, like, I understand the world's we're halfway across the world. Their culture's very different, and I have those adaptations to make and certain understandings to make when I get here. But I think that for the most part, you know, I just kind of looked at budgets and things like that. So I think I did a lot of research, but I don't know. Now that I'm talking to you, it seems like you spent a lot more time researching than me.
Well, but because of my OCD, I think I did a little bit overboard. I went a little bit too overboard with the research, and I kind of ruined a lot of the surprise for myself, you know. And so I probably wish I would have come over here and without so much of a knowledge of and what to expect, you know. Because like I was saying to you earlier, I know it's around. I knew it was around every corner before I even came here.
Right.
Just because I watched so much YouTube on Thailand. For you, it's still a surprise around every corner. And I wish I could have had that, but it is what it is. Like I tell you, we all take our own journey. Like everybody that comes over here, they come over here and they walk a different path. So.
And there's just so many cool things about it, you know, like when I got on the motorcycle for the first time, because I needed to get somewhere right now. And I would have probably never gotten on that motorcycle if I didn't need to get somewhere in 10 minutes. But that's one of those things that now that I've done it, it's actually a lot of fun. You know, you would have, you know, it kind of forces you into a different situation than you would have never found yourself before.
Yeah, I agree.
And you'd be surprised what you like.
I agree. No, I know. And that's the problem I have is I'm like, I don't really go out and try new things. But I really have since I've been here, but not really like I should be. Mm-hmm. Like you were here a couple days, you're already petting a tiger.
I was here for 8 hours.
8 hours. He's already petting a tiger at 8 hours. And dude, I haven't done that since I've been here. Like that hasn't even crossed my mind to go and seek something like that out. So maybe I need to start being more adventurous.
You need to smoke weed with your taxi driver. I'll tell you, we were blowing it down at 6 in the morning in that taxi. It was great.
Oh man. All right. Let's do. What was your biggest concern or fear before coming to Thailand?
So for me personally, my only hang up about this whole thing or anything that ever caused me any hesitation whatsoever is just my relationship with my daughter. That's it. Aside from that, I have zero qualms about this. And I felt totally good about the whole thing. And I think that, you know, of course, I'll have issues with my daughter. I don't know who doesn't have issues with kids and divorces and all these things. But I think in the end, she'll come to see the light.
Let's hope so.
I believe so.
I think once you get her over here and she sees how life is over here, I mean, like I said earlier, especially for a teenager, I don't think that they'll want to go home. I think this kind of city would be very exciting for a teenager.
Yeah, words and videos cannot describe what it really, when you really bite that piece and digest it down into your stomach and you truly understand what you have come across and where you're at now, it is. I mean, when we were coming up here on the roof, my heart was literally skipping a beat, knowing that this was within my reach, and it wasn't even that far away. In fact, it was very close to my reach. Yeah. I don't even have to reach that far to have something. I mean, it's intoxicating, truly.
What do you think is going to be the hardest part about settling in to Bangkok out here? Once you get settled in out here, what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge?
Well, certainly the language, right? I would say that's going to be the biggest problem. But I mean, I don't think that I think foreigners are very accepted here and English is very understood. Yeah. So I don't think that I'm really going to have a problem doing anything important. But then there's simple conversational things or, you know, working with government officials. But I mean, I like the date I went on with the girl last night, like she had very good English. Yeah, I was talking to her about the samurai and things like this. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was kind of...
You got lucky.
I guess.
You got lucky because a lot of Thai girls here, they don't speak the language. They don't speak English, so yes. They don't speak very well. They don't speak English very well.
Yes, so I was asking her like, "Oh, do you know what a Ronin is? You know, in the you know, the masterless samurai?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I totally get it." So so maybe that's not a concern that I'll actually have. I've been very pleasantly surprised about how easy it is to communicate. The only other thing would be simply understanding the culture and the nuances of the culture.
Yes.
Right. And and it's just because of our things like not haggling. Right. We don't really haggle. Can't haggle at all really in America or the West in general. And so certain things like that will take some getting used to. Yeah. But ultimately, I think that I'll adjust just fine in a couple weeks even.
Yeah, and you're going to do a lot of traveling here in Bangkok or in Thailand, period, before you really kind of settle down in Bangkok. I traveled for about a month, And I don't know, like, I think you plan on traveling for about a month, right?
Well, in total?
3 weeks or something like that? 3-4 weeks?
It'll be like, 3 weeks.
Inside Thailand, yes. Yeah, in 3 weeks.
3 weeks, if not longer.
So, that's about what I did. I traveled for about 3 weeks here in Thailand when I first got here, before I decided to settle down and get my condo. I know you're headed to the Philippines, and you're going to check that out over there, and then you're going to, go back home and try and get, like, the 5-year visa. You think you're going to go for the 5-year visa and try and make a go of it here?
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm going to do. I still have some stuff to wrap up at home. Like I was telling you before, I would have sold everything and just already come here ready to settle down. But my mom in particular just kept cautioning me. And my mom's always been really good to me, and she's always been a very nice person. So I thought I could do her she's my senior. I should have the respect to listen to someone who was trying to give me some wisdom. And so it wasn't a big issue for me to leave everything. I was already selling stuff by the time she had talked me into this. So there's everything's already half gone. But gonna go back, wrap all that up, finish selling my car. And then I'll be able to easily afford the DTV visa.
The 5-year visa.
The 5-year visa. Yeah.
So back home, you're basically sold your business. And you're gonna liquidate your assets.
Yep.
And you're gonna plan on surviving over here from rental properties, correct? That's gonna be your main form of income while you're here. Mm-hmm. That's very important to have some kind of revenue stream while you're here. So you already have that figured out. That's 90% of the battle. Honestly, coming over here to live is like figuring out, okay, how am I going to get a Western income every month guaranteed? Yeah. And as long as you get that figured out and you get the visa figured out, then you just got to make sure one of these she-devils out here, one of these fucking bar girls don't get their fangs in you, dude, because you'll get rinsed. Yeah. Absolutely, you'll get rinsed.
Hey, man, I got rinsed by my ex-wife in the States, so it's the same deal, right, brother? I mean, honestly, I guess I shouldn't say rinsed, because I've seen people get a lot worse deals, but it did, I spent a lot of money, for sure, on my divorce. Yeah. About $250,000.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm technically not divorced. Technically, I'm still married still, but legally still married. We've been separated since 2016.
You gotta get that taken care of.
I know, dude. I know. I gotta get a lawyer and all that stuff. But no, I hear you. Listen, I lost a house. We had to split the house. I had 4 cars and a house, and all of that's gone now. So listen, I sympathize. I sympathize with you, buddy. I think that's going to about do it for this one. I think just a real quick interview because, he's only been here a few days. So it's like, I want to do another interview with Joseph here maybe 6 months from now, after he's been in the country 6 months, and after I've been in the country about 6 months or so. That way you can be like, okay, now this is what I'm used to, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. But honestly, just being here for a couple days, you're still in shock and awe of everything that's like the society, the culture, the cost of how cheap everything is and how available everything is here,
Yeah, I mean, this is day 3 for me, and I feel like in a funny sense, it's like my brain, I need a day to just sit in the hotel, I think, so my brain can even comprehend everything that I've absorbed so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, all right, Joseph, I genuinely appreciate you coming on, buddy. We're going to have many more. Hopefully in the future, we're going to do a couple more podcasts, and we'll see how, in 6 months or so, we'll see how you're adjusting to life here.
That's the plan.
All right, brother. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for paying me my $10, giving me my shekels every month. I genuinely appreciate it. I'm sorry the interview was so short, but like I said, the dude's only been here a few days, so I want to give him some time to get acclimated to Thailand, the culture, get settled in, and then we'll do another interview with Joseph. Also, I have 2 more interviews just like this lined up. Hopefully the audio is a little better. Like, we had to do this up here on the roof, and hopefully, in post when I edit all of this, you guys can actually hear what we're saying. But thank you again for subscribing to my Patreon, and plenty more videos to come. Thank you guys for hanging in there. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.